Divrei-Hayamim Bet, chapter 24. Joash was 7 years old when he began his reign, and he reigned 42 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zechariah from Beersheba. Joash did what was right from Adonai's perspective throughout the lifetime of Jehoiada the Kohen. Jehoiada chose 2 wives for him, and he became the father of sons and daughters. Some time later, Joash decided to restore the house of Adonai. He gathered the Kohanim and Leviim and said to them, "Go out to the cities of Yehuda and collect money each year from all Israel to repair the house of your God. See that you do this promptly." But when the Leviim procrastinated, the king summoned Jehoiada the chief and said to him, "Why haven't you demanded that the Leviim bring in from Yehuda and Jerusalem the tax prescribed by Moshe, the servant of Adonai, and by the community of Israel, for the tent of the testimony? For the sons of that wicked Atalyah had broken up the house of God, and they had given all the consecrated things belonging to the house of Adonai to the Baalim." Then, at the king's order, they made a box and placed it outside the entrance to the house of Adonai. They proclaimed throughout Yehuda and Jerusalem that the tax Moshe, the servant of God, had imposed on Israel in the desert should be brought in for Adonai. All the leaders and all the people were glad to bring in their contributions and put them in the box until it was full. When the box was brought to the king's officials by the Leviim, and when they saw how much money there was, the king's secretary and the chief Cohen's official came and emptied the box. Then they took it and returned it to its place. They did this daily, and they collected money in abundance. The king and Jehoiada gave it to those in charge of taking care of the house of Adonai. They, in turn, hired stoneworkers and carpenters to restore the house of Adonai, also iron and bronze workers to repair the house of Adonai. The workers got on with their tasks, so that the restoration progressed well, until they had returned the house of God to its earlier condition and strengthened it. When they had finished, they brought the rest of the money to the king and Jehoiada, and it was used to make equipment for the house of Adonai, articles for ministry, buckets, fire pans, and utensils of gold and silver. So they offered burnt offerings in the house of Adonai regularly throughout the time of Jehoiada. But Jehoiada grew old, and when he was full of days, he died. He was 130 years old when he died. They buried him in the city of David among the kings, because he had served Israel, God, and his house well. After Jehoiada died, the leaders of Yehuda came and prostrated themselves before the king. Then the king listened to them, and they abandoned the house of Adonai, the God of their ancestors, and served the sacred poles and the idols. In consequence of their guilt, God's anger fell on Yehuda and Jerusalem. In spite of this, he sent them prophets to bring them back to Adonai. They warned them, but they wouldn't pay attention. The Spirit of God covered Zechariah, the son of Jehoiada, the Kohen. He stood above the people and addressed them. "Thus says God, why are you transgressing the mitzvot of Adonai and courting disaster? Because you have abandoned Adonai, he has abandoned you." But they conspired against him and stoned him to death at the order of the king in the courtyard of the house of Adonai. Thus Joash the king did not remember the kindness which Jehoiada, Zechariah's father, had done for him, but put his son to death. As he was dying, he said, "May Adonai see this and take vengeance." The following spring, the army of Aram came up against him. They attacked Yehuda and Jerusalem, slaughtered all the people's leaders, and sent all their spoils to the king of Damascus. Although the army of Aram attacked with only a small company of men, Adonai handed over a very great army to them, because they had abandoned Adonai, the God of their ancestors. Thus they executed judgment against Joash. After they had left him, and they left him seriously wounded, his own servants conspired against him, because he had shed the blood of the sons of Jehoiada the Kohen, and they killed him in his own bed. After he died, they buried him in the city of David, but they didn't bury him in the tombs of the kings. Those who conspired against him were Zavad, the son of Shimat, the Ammonite, and Jehozabad, the son of Shimrit, the Moabite. As for his sons, the heavy tribute imposed on him and the rebuilding of the house of God. They are recorded in the commentary of the annals of the king. Then Amatzyahu his son took his place as king.